Welcome to our channel. यो पर्यटकले भरिएको पुरानो बिल्डिङ चेक रिपब्लिक कन्ट्रीको क्यापिटल प्राग सिटीको ओल्ड टाउन हल हो र यो भित्तामा देखिएको घडी 1410 मा इन्स्टल गरिएको वर्ल्ड ओल्डेस्ट अपरेटिङ एस्ट्रोनोमिकल क्लक हो। आज हामी टुर गाइडको साथमा यस बिल्डिङलाई भ्रमण गर्दैछौँ। यस भिडियोमा मैले हाम्रो गाइडले बोलेको र भनेको अडियो भिडियोलाई तपाईहरू साझा गर्दैछु एन्ड आई होप यु विल इन्जोय इट। तर आज चाहिँ गाइडेड टुरले पनि थाम्दैन जस्तो छ। हाम्रो नानी बिहानदेखि सुतेको छैन। आज सुत्ने टाइम मिस गऱ्यो। अब कतिखेर चाहिँ रुम थालेपछि चाहिँ तर ठिकै छ। लेट्स होप फर द बेस्ट। आमाको चाहिँ लास्ट टाइम थियो क्या। गाउँको त अलिक कम्ती हो कि।
Would you please get your tickets ready?
यहाँ चाहिँ टिकट रेडी गर्नु पर्यो। यहाँसम्म त आइपुग्यो। अगाडि जानु लागि चाहिँ टिकट दिन्छ कम्पलसरी। सो वी हेभ 3 टिकट्स। यसमा चाहिँ स्टडी गर्नुपर्छ। यहाँ चाहिँ यति साह्रो ओल्ड हुन्छ तर भित्र लिफ्टहरू यति साह्रो मोडर्न, अन्त फेरि चिजहरू यति साह्रो उहिलेको होइन। अब यहाँ डाइनिङ टेबलहरू होइन, गेट चाहिँ वाउ, वी आर एन्टरिङ द वर्ल्ड।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. My name is Easy George, and we have 1 hour to spend together. I take you from the Gothic chapel through the historical halls, and then we descend down to the cellars. For start up, few dates to the history and to the location of the Old Town Prague. Old Town Prague is one of 5 towns which were here already from year the castle 900, and then the newest is the new town Prague. It's 14th century, so long time. Till 1784, these 5 boroughs, we say historical towns, were individual independent towns here, and 1784 they merged and made Prague the town we know today. To the location, to the territory of the old town, here in the center of today's city, on the right side of the river, the town diameter about 2 times 3 kilometers. And here, as I said, in the center of today's city. It's good to know to the river too. You know, the river, the Czech name is Vltava. Vltava River starts up in the mountains, some 400 kilometers out of here in the south, the border with Austria and Germany, then running through South Bohemia, reaching Prague and leaving the city on the north side, going to Germany. And here on the right side is the Old Town Prague. To the history, the first people began to settle here after 1150. The first house is built up, and so the oldest house here in the complex we will see in the cellars, the Romanesque house. And now I would say, in a moment I'm going to speak about the clock. You do this, keep going up there, take a short or close look to the figures In the opening down there, you can see the clockwork, and then come back this way. Yeah. So go up there one side, come back the other side, or as you like it.
एकजनाले त्यहाँ जानु अरे कि क्लक हेर्नु अरे मजाले हेर्नु त्यहाँदेखि आउनु अरे म पहिला जान्छु त्यहाँदेखि यहाँनिर चाहिँ उयो के पो मेन एस्ट्रोनोमिकल क्लकको मेकानिजम मान्छे हेरेको छुइनँ नि
ओ त्यो फ्ल्यागहरू
Well, we arrived at the second house. This house was purchased by the town, again from the hands of the private people of the family in about 1500. So we are here in a place from beginning of 16th century. From the very beginning, it's only the ceiling, the deeply carved ceiling here, and all what we see around us. This arrived later in 16th, 17th, 18th century. After 1500, this place was used for more than 200 years as a courtroom and also as an assembly hall of the people leading the town. First, two objects to the court. You see the plastic of Jesus the sufferer over there. It was often seen in courtrooms in Middle Ages in the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th century. And the position of Jesus, hands up, eyes and face pointing to the place where the jury used to sit during the process, and the sign saying, Son of Man, decide justly. So this plastic, based on a meeting with Jesus Christ with King Pilatus in Jerusalem, this was symbolizing something like justice on court. Another one is here. Another one, symbol of the court of justice is here. God is justice, God is justitia. But interesting is the whole thing. It's a stove. It's a Dutch stove, a Baroque stove. Placed here in 1735, and they heated up this hall by this for 200 years. It's even today it's in very good condition, and I said 200 years. Around 1925 arrived the first central heating. The panels you can see under windows. No opening here on the front side, because there is one room behind, and they loaded wood for burning from the back side to keep it clean here, and no noise maker. And now briefly to the symbols of town. We have here the oldest coat of arms of Old Town Prague. This one, that one, that's the simple one, 3 towers, wide towers. It's because even today, when you look around, standing outside, you always can see some towers around. So Old Town Prague, called the town of towers already in the early years. Then the Romanesque turned into Gothic, and this is 1471 coat of arms. 1471 is the year when Czech King George died. We will speak about his life and about his position as a king of Bohemia later. So this is coat of arms of the year. Also, not only year or the period, but 1471. Then the Gothic turns into Baroque. And you are here in 1648, and there is one basic difference between, and this is the handmade sword. You see, there's nothing there, it's here, and it's today too, it's forever. The handmade sword is an operation of people of the Old Town Prague for their braveness in the last battle of the 30-year war. 30-year war between Catholics and Protestants. It has begun in 1618 in Prague, and so also the last battle took place on the Charles Bridge in 1648. Finally, the victory was on the Catholic side. The Swedish army, the other side, the Protestants, they turned around and get back home after 30 years finally. And for the last battle, from Vienna arrived Ferdinand III Habsburg, and he gave to citizens of Prague this symbol of braveness. So it was just a short explanation why the hand. And this is present time. It's not new. It's 1928. But anyway, it's still here, almost 100 years old. And now, when we are on the walls, let's speak about these small coats of arms around us. 56 are they together, and these are coats of arms of guilds of 17th century craftsmanship, syndicati. Let's take this side a little example. You know, the sailboat was a symbol, was a coat of arms of wholesalers. Those guys who imported stuff for retail sale. The next one exists: butchers, zetters, fishers, goldsmiths, hat makers, potters, rope producers. Historians are not sure if rope producers or maybe bakers of pretzel. It's not that important. It's here, and another up to 56 of them. When we are on the walls here, before we go, two more names. This lady, born 862, named Princess Ludmila, was in the age of 12, the first one on this territory, in this nation, the first one who was Christianized, baptized. In 874, the first Bible, first literature about Christianity arrived to this territory from Greece, and Ludmila was the first one baptized. Later then, Ludmila was grandmother of our main patron, Saint Wenceslaus. You can meet these names 100 places across the country. In Czech, it sounds like Václav and Ludmila. So this is the most important to this place. Prague used this hall for more than 200 years as a courtroom and as a cinema. And now we go to the next one.
प्रागले चाहिँ मोर देन 200 इयर्सको लागि चाहिँ यो रुमलाई चाहिँ एज अ कोर्ट रुम युज गरेको रहेछ। बिचारा मेरो बुढीले चाहिँ आज एकदम नानी हेरिरहेछ यार, सो द्याट आई क्यान भिडियो।
third house. In the center of the third house is the biggest hall here. We will see it later. I mean, this city ceremonial hall. And here we are in the hallway, in the entrance hall of the big one. In the entrance hall, three objects I should mention. First is the door. You see, it's very fine carpentry, very fine skilled handwork of year 1619. Later, after the tour, if you go, you walk the tower, you can see we are on the second floor now. So the reverse side has the figure 1619. Only what we don't know is the name of the carpenter or the artist. But the door is very fine work. Another thing is the base. You know, the blue base, and maybe you know a town called Zever. It's a town not far from Paris, France. And in that Zever town, they are producing a beautiful, beautiful porcelain for centuries. And this particular piece, as we can read on the standard, is a friendly gift from the city of Paris to Prague in 1901, delivered by city mayor of Paris. So Sever bases at the porcelain. And then finally the paintings. With the paintings, you should know, you can remember the name of the master painter. The name is easy, the name is Brožík. First name Václav. Václav Brožík, born 1851 out of Prague, not in this town, not far. 1851, and whole his life, he departed then in the age of 50. Whole his life he was painting the things from the life of Prague. Let's begin on that side. This is a moment of Prague Castle in 1348, and we can see Czech King Charles IV, Roman Emperor Charles, Czech King Charles IV, as he is founding at that time the first Latin university in Central Europe, today famous Charles University of Prague. On the other side, now we are in Amsterdam, on the town hall of Amsterdam. You see the big mill behind the window. And this is one of many meetings at the end of 30-year war. Meetings between Dutch Protestants and Czech Protestants on the other side. So was the situation, you know, the victory of Catholics means the recapitalization of the country, and thousands of Protestants were pushed out of this country, and they went mainly to Sweden or Netherlands. And this is one of meetings on one side Dutch, on the other side Czech. There is one man who should not be there, which is a nonsense. He is there, but listen. The guy on the right side with the white cover is the painter. It's Master Brožík, born 200 years later after this session. But anyway, he used to do it like that, to put his face, his body, to his paintings. We will see him again. He could be about 40 years old here, and we will see him again as an elderly man. So let's go on.
Clever one. Wow.
Well, you see the big hall, city ceremonial hall since 1948. We are here in the newest house, newest of all five. I say again, the first one is 14th century, the second one 16th century, 16, 17, and all this time here was the place for the new house. And they built it up in 1850, and for 95 years after 1850, this was used as an assembly hall of the leading people in the town and in the city later. We can speak about Prague, about like city, first after 1918. The years before, we were part of the Habsburg monarchy, and then the seat of the emperor, seat of the king was Vienna. So the city was Vienna. But anyway, all the years since ever, Prague was the biggest town in the country. As I already mentioned, the city ceremonial hall since 1948 is the place which we can see often on the television, newspaper and magazines. This is a place where the leading people of the city are meeting with, for example, the best students, teachers, sportsmen, firemen, people of that kind are coming here. Also the guests of the city from abroad. Well, 1850, but now you should know this. Typical for Prague are two periods of architecture. The first one is Art Nouveau, Art Nouveau, new art in English. These are years after 1900, and then is coming late Art Nouveau, late new art, and this is what we have here. I say that because you can meet more places in Prague. Typical, or it always should be black, white and gold, and another typical mark is the curved line. You see? This is here more than 100 years, and look under your feet, you see the same colors, 3 colors. So this is to the architecture, and now to these paintings, these canvases. Only in brief. Name of the man in black is Jan Hus. Jan Hus was a popular preacher. His church was, or still is, 15 minutes from here walking, Bethlehem Chapel. We are in the beginning of 15th century. People like him, but the high-ranked authorities in Catholic Church not. Then finally, they invited him to this session. This is, the place is Constance in Germany on the Swiss border, and the time is spring year 1415. And very quickly, they pronounced him heretic, and on 6th July 1415, they burned him. They burned him on a stake. And this was the last signal to people here to raise up against Catholics. So all the years after 1415, the years running wars running through this part of Europe called Hussite Wars. The last 10 years, the country was in ruins. No king was here, no royal family. So the people were looking for somebody responsible.
Yes, yeah. I know. ले गरेँ त यो चाहिँ आज उयो थियो नि कि
Well, we arrived to the 4th house of the 5 houses complex, but let me begin with the last one, the fifth house in the row. This house has been rented to student union, so we can go inside. The guys use it. Anyway, this is famous house in Prague, famous for its facade. You see, this is sgraffito. Sgraffito is an art which arrived from Italy in 17th century. And there is no other house in Prague with such a rich sgraffito, outside, inside decoration. Original name is
We are talking about that building.
House, we translate it in English. So you can see it much better when you are outside on the street. And now back to this place. We are again on the beginning of 16th century. So after 1500, this was used as one of the walls here. Still original is the wood on the ceiling. The window corresponds with that Gothic period. The frescoes, at least pieces of the original were saved. But we are coming here because of this. You know, this is what I told you in the chapel on the beginning of our tour, that before 1784, Prague was not one town as we know it today, but there were 5 individual boroughs called today 5 historical towns. We can see the panorama from this place. This is the top of Peter's Hill, Vinci. Today is the copy of the Eiffel Tower there. Now we are here in this moment, so 3 kilometers across the river. You hear. Well, and then standing here on the left-hand side, we have the castle, one of the 5 towns. Under the castle is the lesser town. Now, big houses, palaces of nobles, wealthy citizens supporting the castle in the past. Then, crossing the river, Charles Bridge, we come to the Old Town. This is the third part. South of the Old is the New Town, founded by King Charles in 1348. And finally, smallest but oldest, Vyšehrad. Vyšehrad can be translated like castle on the high rock. And this is the oldest part, probably in the 6th, 7th century. The first Slav breeds used to live here, and they mixed up with Celts coming from the southwest. And finally, these people at the end of 8th century moved through the forests, and they built up the first church here in about 840. So this is the story of Prague. We are ready here on this floor, and now let me go ahead and we have 20 minutes to go to finish the tour.
मेरो बुढी त उहिलेको चेयरमा बसिरहेछ त त्यहाँ बस्नु चाहिँ दिन्छ कि दिँदैन कि समृद्धिले पनि कुनै कति सेन्चुरीमा बसेर चेयरमा दुध खाए
Often people are asking on this. You know, no matter the name of this construction in Czech, anyway, in Czech it sounds like hrázděná zeď. Fachwerk is often used, the German word, Fachwerk. English, the Tudor style construction. And why is this here? Many houses in Middle Ages were constructed like this, well, built it up like this in Prague. But then in year 1609, King Rudolf II Habsburg, he was living in Prague. He was the only one Habsburg spending 30 years in Prague, not in Vienna. and he was afraid of fire in town. So he ordered that all houses of this kind in Prague, not outside Prague, but in Prague, must be covered by plaster. You know, and so it's in Prague we don't see this anyway, but there are many, many houses under the plaster. And here they left for us one little example of that.
Okay.
So this is this wall. Okay, come. Yeah. The place is called Hall of Nights, and we are here not only one flight lower, but we can say also 1 century deeper in the history. Up there we were in 16th century, but here we know about this. The wall painting was made here in 1420. So this is beginning of 16th century, of 15th century. 1420, it's 15th century. Except this, also the ceilings are interesting from the view of history. This is the oldest. This is about 1660. So it's mid of 17th century. The wood, the paint, all original, and the paint. Sure, it's no chemistry, it's all natural. When we take 100 years more, we are here in the center, it's about 1760, and at another 100 and we are there. So these are 3 periods
It's 18th century.
and it's their decoration, say. So 17, 18, and 19th century.
Yeah, 17th, 18th, and 19th century.
Now we will see it again, so-called mosaic hall. This is the place where we met together. The mosaic hall, I tell you more about it. The mosaic hall is a meeting point for people after wedding ceremony. And I'm saying that because the beautiful, beautiful places, wedding halls, are here behind this island door. People from half of Europe are coming to Prague to get married in the historical halls here in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Well, I take my place here, and the people, we spend 10 minutes here. Usually, everybody relax here, so you can take a seat around on the steps and listen. Well, we arrived to the oldest part of the Old Town Hall. I already mentioned that the oldest is Romanesque. Romanesque is the time before 1200, and so we can see this place. Seeing the style of building, we can say they began to build up this house about 1180, 1190. You see the big difference between this style of building and then what we saw in the chapel. So 200 years later, the big light places, big windows and so. But anyway, typical house of family house, we would say today, burger house of year before 1200. Always the same, the houses of that time. Only 2 levels, 2 story high. This is a ground floor. They used to call ground floor Mass house. Mass house means this was the part of the family house, the part for work. Today we would say business part of the family house. So here could be a workshop, stocks, a shop. And this was the family business, and the family lived on the top floor. Some houses, and we will see it on our way, also had a private wells giving them sweet water. But there was one problem here, and the problem was floods. Too much water after rains in the south, mainly in the mountains, 400 kilometers out of here. This is where the river starts up. And then this is the border with Austria and Germany in the south, then going through, running through South Bohemia, reaching Prague and leaving Prague, going to Germany on the north side. So the spring rains usually then made high water from the river, and the water flooded the houses. Again, why? Today, you know, this is the ordinary river, 4 or 5 meters deep in the city, but that time the river was much wider than today, but was just a shallow stream, and there were places where you could cross the river with almost dry foot and fords. And old Czech language called these fords Prahy. You hear it? Prahy, and name of the town is Prague. So Prahy gave name to the town in old towns. Well, to the point, they decided finally that the only way which could help is to bring the whole town higher. Again, I say, speaking about the old town, we speak about 2 times 3 kilometers. And this is what they began to bring higher after 1280. And this activity they kept for 70 years. Within 70 years, they delivered thousands of carts of material like this, stone, clays, and other everything. And step by step, they were going higher and higher. Finally, in about 1350, everything was ready, and the Old Town Prague was 5 meters higher than before. Windows, you know, all the windows, sure, had to be sealed. This is what we see today. Sealed windows, because around us is material. So at first, ground floor, now we are 5 meters here. This is 5 meters, I mean the top, 5 meters beneath the streets around. To the windows, I also say it now because it's a frequent question. Why the windows look like this? Today, windows we have to stay on the floor and look outside. bring light inside. Not that time, the windows that time were here mainly for changing the air inside, you know, for heating, for lightening. Everything was an open fire, and they needed fresh air, so the windows were always under the ceiling. And from security reason, that how we see it, you know, the form. Well, now I said 1350 they were ready, and 50 years later, in about 1400, Prague began to use all these premises as a jail. For 300 years to 1700, all this around us and all we will see on the way back was prison of Prague. A usual penalty for murders, for all the hard criminal acts. Usual penalty was death by starving that time. Death by starving. And for that now, because all the wells, by the moving with the land here, the wells lost water, so they were just empty grounds, empty holes. These holes were now used as prison cells for the people, men, who were sentenced to death by starving. So in these holes, these guys were waiting for the last hours of their lives without bread and water. And now jump to newer times, 3 weeks, about 3 weeks before end of the World War II. These premises were used as a field hospital. More and more skirmishes on streets between the last Nazi groups and civilians, Czech civilians. So this meant also many injured people. And here, day and night, those 2-3 weeks, Czech doctors and nurses were healing those people. Speak too much, it's over. And now we go, I would say we are not that many. Let's take this side, we come back here, see behind the wall, and around the corner, who wants to see it first? Around the corner there is one of the typical wells. We say Gothic wells around the corner, the holes giving them sweet water. So that way or this way. To out of here is only one way, nobody can get lost. Everybody we go this way to the exit.
It was
But we will see again, the next stop is the kitchen of the first house under the church.
That's true. It's probably better than some of the other ways.
And we go now to the last point.
The well. Where there used to be water. Maybe that's a little bit of water still.
There's still a water.
Maybe some points.
Yeah. Many people wish. अझै वेलमा अझै पानी रहेछ औ माथि हो
This is ground floor. We are already on the ground floor.
यो चाहिँ खिड्की अरे त्यो जमानाको अब यो डालो थुन्से झाडु सिँढी होइन उहिलेको मान्छेले एउटै सोच्ने रहेछ कि
But anyway, we are back on the ground floor. The clock is behind the door. I told you after the war, as a symbol of the end of the World War II, they made this the cross from centuries-old wood on the chapel, and it was placed next to the names you can find on the board, the names of men who died here the last 4 days. Well, then the next, you see the black and white picture. This is the view, the town hall before the Nazis attacked on the 8th May. So today is only the left side, the tower and the chapel. But all of the right side, the beautiful new Gothic part is gone. Inside was only also, I would say, also this, and the stones which we saw on one flight over. This was one small house inside from 15th century, so one part is here. And then the last, these 4 guys. I told you, the chapel was finished in 1381, consecrated, dedicated to 4 Saint Patrons, and these are the Saint Patrons of this nation, of the people living here. Names are Saint Vitus, Saint Wenceslas, Santa Brunella, and Saint Adalbert. Adalbert was one of the first Christians, and he was second bishop of Prague, and he was murdered for his faith, for his believing in God. He was murdered in 997. And this is it, my dear. I hope it was interesting. I only want to say before say goodbye, if you want to go to the tower, you can take the lift here, which brings you to the 3rd floor. And the 3rd floor, then you go on the boardwalk up, or you can buy, or maybe you already have a ticket for another elevator. This elevator here is free, or you can walk up the way here. This is it. Thank you for your attention, and have a nice time in Prague.
Thank you so much.